Welcome back. Well, the International Relations and Cooperation Minister, Dr. Naledi, Pandor, reiterating our government's stance in favour of a peaceful resolution in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Pandor's been hosting her Russian counterpart, Sergey Lavrov, in Swane to strengthen relations between the two countries. Our senior political reporter, Ziyanda, Ngcobo, attended this morning's meeting between the two foreign ministers. She joins us now. Ziyanda, good afternoon to you. What were the main messages here? Naledi, Pandor, I presume, sticking to our line, our government's line of neutrality.
Both governments actually sticking to their lines. Dr. Naledi Pandor speaking about the history of our country, of a negotiated settlement, but also referring to the UN Charter as saying that this is what their guiding principle for their stance. So the policy of non-alignment is not new per se, and so she doesn't understand why there's all of a sudden this pressure on South Africa to take a stance, in particular because, the UN Security Council itself has not taken a resolution on this matter of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. So let's listen to what Dr. Pandor had to say earlier on.
This is why as South Africa we consistently articulate that we will always stand ready to support the peaceful resolution of conflicts in the continent and throughout the globe. South Africa believes that the only path to peace is through diplomacy, through dialogue, and through a commitment to the principles of the UN Charter, including the principle that all member states will endeavour to settle disputes by peaceful means. It is important, therefore, that I mention on behalf of South Africa our sincere wish that the conflict currently between Russia and Ukraine will soon be brought to a peaceful end through diplomacy and negotiation, as we believe this is the desire of all of us in the globe.
Sergey Lavrov, obviously there are big questions. Could there ever be peace in this conflict between Ukraine and Russia? I suppose Russia's invasion of Ukraine to be more accurate. What does he say about the prospects for peace?
So interestingly, Lavrov has maintained that, they've always been willing to negotiate with Ukraine. And in fact, it's always been the US, Britain and other Western countries that have interfered in this process. He's quoted, the 3 meetings in Belarus and the most recent one in Istanbul. And he was even criticizing the media to say, why hasn't the media been asking Ukraine why they abandoned talks when, in fact, Volodymyr Zelensky had come up with a draft proposal, which he says they were willing to actually ratify and put together, as a proper, charter between the two countries. And so Lavrov basically saying that, it's not their fault that the conflict has been prolonged for so long. It's almost a year now on the 24th of February. So Lavrov, let's listen to what he had to say earlier.
As regards the specific situation between us and Ukraine, it is well known that we supported the proposal of Ukrainian side to negotiate early in the special military operation, and by the end of March in Istanbul, 2 delegations agreed on the principles to settle this conflict. It is well known, it was published openly that our American and British and some European colleagues told Ukraine that it is too early to deal. And the arrangement, which was almost agreed, was never revisited by the Kyiv regime.
And Ziyanda, in the meantime, of course, we've got these military exercises, naval exercises next month with Russia and China.
Absolutely, and interestingly, the Defense Department releasing a statement this morning confirming that between the 17th and the 27th of February, they'll be undergoing those exercises, but basically emphasizing that there's nothing unique about this. In fact, Dr. Naledi Pandor saying that there's this double standard that only gets applied against African countries, that every country has its own sovereignty, and that there should be no reason why this should be questioned, especially since last year a similar exercise was undertaken with France. Before that, there was also training with the US. So there's no real reason for why there's this hullabaloo around, all these training exercises.
Ziyanda Ngcobo, our senior political reporter, thank you very much indeed. Do appreciate the update from one of the big developing stories today.